Welcome to the MCDFNL Footy Show for another week. Fantastic to be joining you again, just 2 weeks out from the MCDFNL finals. Sean Kelly's my name in the host chair once again this week. Joining me as he does every week, my co-host Sam Gowers. Sam, welcome along. And it's great to have our special guest in this week, our second co-host, and joining us after a couple of weeks' convalescence, Scotty Carey. Welcome back, mate.
Thanks, Shawnee. Good to be back, mate.
Great to have you back, mate. It's been we've had comments that you've been missing over the last couple of weeks, and people have been wanting to get you back on, so it's good to have you back in.
Yeah, plenty of comments coming in. A couple of people tuned out last couple of weeks, my absence, but they'll be back this week.
And I suppose it's good because now we can bag you to your face rather than having you on the other side of the camera.
Yeah, that's fine. You'll get it back too.
Very, very good. Before we crack into it this week, though, Scotty, we want to talk about the Berry Powell medal. You've got the nice little Price is Right style poster in front of you that we got Daniel Parkin, of course, to look at last week. But it's going to be a big night, Monday the 9th of September at the Maryborough Highland Society. All clubs have their tickets at the moment, so make sure you talk to your club's president or secretary if you want a ticket to go to what's going to be a fantastic night with a pretty good guest speaker as well, Scotty.
Absolutely. One of my favourites, Matty Scarlett, being a Geelong supporter. It's going to be some interesting questions for him, I'd say, after his book coming out with Nick Maxwell. I'll be asking a few there as well. So, plenty of experience, 3-time premiership player.
Yep.
All Australian, so I think it'll be a good one to listen to.
And of course, the Berry Powell medal is pretty important as well, as is the A-grade netball best and fairest. There's some big awards going to be presented on that night. Speaking of awards, Sammy, you've got a Price is Right style poster to hold up as well, mate, for our junior presentation night, Monday the 2nd of September at Barringham Hall. All of the junior awards that night. That's going to be another fantastic night. Free to join this one, so welcome to come along. Let your club know if you are coming, though, just so we can cater, because we'll put on a nice little supper for you. There'll be some soft drink available to purchase on the night as well, and we'll announce all of the best and fairest from throughout our 3 junior grades of footy and our 3 junior grades of netball, Scotty.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. One of the best nights on the MCDFNL calendar.
I agree.
This one, so yeah, get along, have a good night, and we'll recognise some of the individual performances throughout the year.
We are going to do exactly that. Now that we've got the housekeeping stuff out of the way, gentlemen, let's have a look at the second half of round 14 played last weekend across the MCDFNL, and 4 games that will have big permutations come 2 weeks' time when we look at the final ladder. We'll start with the game between Maldon and Talbot 10-19-79, keeping their finals hopes alive, defeating Maldon by 10 points, 10-9-69. Goal kickers for the Hawks, Trent Barris kicked 3 and 2 each, Josh Sullivan and David Clark. For Maldon, Jake Fitzpatrick kicked 4 goals and Sean Birchall got 2. For Talbot, their better players, Arnell, Clark, Mortimer, Urkamps, Prentice and Wise. And for Maldon, their better players, Shawnee Birchall, Hall, Horn, Fitzpatrick, Bell and Conway. Good win by the Hawks, Sammy. Draws them level to points with Maldon at the moment. Teams in 8th and 9th spot, and with the results going right, they could find themselves a game clear in the finals this weekend after that win, the Hawks.
Yeah, just keeping their finals hopes alive there. As you probably know, I'm a bit of a closet Talbot fan this season.
You're a bit of a closet something else as well, but we'll leave that for off camera.
I'm not sure that's appropriate. Now I've lost my train of thought.
That tends to happen.
But yeah, good to see Talbot get a win, makes the finals a bit more exciting, and I know they're looking forward to maybe sneaking up into the top 8.
Yeah, they're a big chance to do so. But what about Maldon, Scotty? They've been one of those teams that have been a bit up and down throughout the year. One week they'll really pressure the top teams, and then the next week, unfortunately, they'll have results like they had on the weekend. If they get into the finals, are they going to be one of those teams that are just making up the numbers, or do you reckon they'll be able to give someone like a Lexton or a Natty or a Harcourt that finish in 5th spot a real crack?
Yeah, they're not the only one to have that sort of year this year, Shawnee. But yeah, I'm not too sure. This is a massive game coming up against Lexton this week. Maldon, that's going to be a tough one. Talbot got Rovers. You'd probably give them the win there, and they swap spots. So massive loss. Yeah, the way they're going at the moment, I don't see them doing much damage during finals. But like you said, if they're there on their day, they could challenge the sides around just outside the 4. Yeah. I don't see them beating any of the top 4 sides, unfortunately.
Because we know they've got the talent to do so, Maldon. They just have to take it all out on the paddock for the next 2 weeks. One team that's taken down on the paddock over recent weeks is Natty Bialaba, your team, Sammy, and they are flying at the moment. They've taken a big scalp on the weekend and it's knocked Lexington out of the top four. Natty 9-11-65, defeating Lexington 6-3-39. Mark Fitzgerald, 3 goals for the Swans on the weekend, 2 each to Lockie Cameron, Brent Mortlock and the Wizard Ryan Weir. For Lexington, 2 goals each to Matty Brown and Rob Mosby, which has been pretty well stock standard for Lexington all year so far. Best players for Natty, Mortlock, Long, Ross, Jardine, Greco and Weir. And for Lexington, Morris, Brown, Templeton, Asplund, Hind and Phillips. Talk us through this one, Sammy, because there might have been a little bit of nervousness, in the Natty camp at quarter time where you kicked 1 goal from 7 scoring shots, and it could have very much been a wasted quarter until you came out in the second quarter, kicked 5 goals, kept Lexington scoreless, and it was all over, she wrote.
Yeah, it's pretty slippery, yuck conditions at Natty on the weekend. Yuck conditions.
Good.
Smelly mud, shocking. But the Swannies adapted to it probably a little bit better than Lexington. Not a good day for forwards like Matt Brown. And just got the job done. I know they were pretty happy.
Unfortunately, it's been a bit of a trend for Lexington this year, Scotty. The heavy grounds, the rainy days, they've lost some games where we thought they would have won, and it could end up being a downfall come finals because they've now slipped out of the top 4. They're a game behind Harcourt. They've got some big work to do in the last couple of weeks to climb back in.
Yeah, that's right. No, I mean, they do have Mullen this week. We said they probably should get over the line, but, it's no certainty.
No, that's right.
I think they did have a close one earlier in the year. So, it's again, same as Mullen, pretty important loss. It's not a good one with Harcourt absolutely flying as well and taking their spot in the top 4. So, I expect them to bounce back this week, but, that's going to be tough to regain that 4th spot.
Will be indeed. Another team that's going along pretty well at the moment are the Avoca Football Club, 15-12-102, defeating Denali on the weekend 5-10-40. Game was all tied up at half time, and then Avoca came out and went bang with 9 goals to 1 in the third quarter to seal this one up. 4 goals to Murray Bond on the weekend for the Doggies, 3 to Matthew Fiddler and 2 to Toby Beavis were their multiple goal kickers. Goal kickers for Denali, all singles on the day, Manly, Shoddy, Edwards, Grant and Hughes. Better players for Avoca, Nankerville, Edwards, Bond, Wiltshire, Kay and Pilgrim. And for Denali, their better players, Ballinger, Hawks, Moffalese, Townsend, Thompson and Dylan Gordois. Good win by Avoca. They really came out in that third quarter and put Denali to the sword to basically secure their finals position, Sammy.
Yeah, I thought it might be a little bit closer than this size, but like I said, Avoca's coming out and
I don't mind Avoca in the way they're going about things, Scotty, at the moment. They're very much flying under the radar. They've put together some solid last couple of weeks, and they're probably going to finish in that 6th, 7th position on the ladder and play an elimination final. I wouldn't like to be the team out of probably Natty, Harcourt, Lexington that fall down and have to play Avoca in that first week of finals.
No, that's right, and they're starting to get a couple of blokes into form along with the whole side at the right time of year. Blokes like Alec Wiltshire are starting to play some good footy and regularly in the best, so that's what they want from their younger guys coming up.
Yep.
Exactly right. They were probably one of those up and down sides at the start of the year, but they are starting to find form, and like you said, you probably don't want to play in week 1.
No, I reckon you're right. And another team that would really appreciate a dry track, given all their runners through the middle of the ground, and of course, Big Murray Bond up forward, kicking bags of goals. But it was the game we've been waiting for a long, long time this season. Navarre taking on Carisbrook. They first met back in the season opener. They meet again in round 14. It's been a long time between drinks for this one. And at half time, it was looking like it was going to deliver. It was a low-scoring game. Navarre were ahead just at home. But in the second half, Carisbrook put on 6 goals to 1 to maintain their undefeated 2013. 9-9-63, the Redbacks defeating Navarre 5-6-36. Luke Tracy, the Carisbrook coach, kicking 3 goals last week. So what happens when you come on the footy show, Scott, Sammy? Again, it's proven. You come on this show, you perform on the weekend. Get around it, especially those leading into finals. 2 goals each to Jackson Bowen and Matthew Bilton, singles to the Wright boys. For Navarre, Ash Driscoll kicked 2 goals, singles to Cody Driscoll, Jesse Eckel and Chris Brennan. Carisbrook's better players, Tim Heenan, Ben Kick, Bilton, Anderson, Furness and Nick Robinson. And for Navarre, their better players, Benny Scott, Jesse Eckel, Louis Hannett, Loverson, Murphy and Chettle. Only 5 points into the three-quarter time as well, Sammy. It was really the last quarter that Carisbrook were able to kick away. I don't think Navarre will be too disappointed with this loss, knowing that they've got a Daniel Parkin to come back in. They've got another couple of players on the sidelines. They would have taken a fair bit out of this game, I reckon.
Yeah, I think they should be pretty happy with what they've done, especially to keep Nath Wright to 1 goal, Nick Wright to 1 goal. I think Carisbrook would be pleased to see that blokes like LT can bob up and kick 3 when their big guns are kept under wraps.
Yep. But I suppose from Carisbrook's point of view, Scotty, they won with those big guns being kept under wraps. We see Nathan Wright only kicking the 1 goal, as Sammy mentioned. A guy like Timmy Heenan, Ben Kick, who are defensive players in their better players on the weekend. So some good signs for Carisbrook as well. And I know, talking to Luke Tracy last night, he was pretty happy with the win as well.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You're playing the second best side in the competition. And you get a 4-goal win. You're always going to be happy with that. And it's been the same story every week with their goal kickers. Just a nice spread across their forwards, midfielders. So they're heading in the right direction. I think a bit of a worry for Navarre is it's twice this year that Carisbrook have overrun him in the last quarter.
Yeah.
Happened in the qualifying final last year as well. It was a pretty tight game, and Carisbrook got the jump in the last quarter. So there is something there for them to work on. They do have a couple of blokes that come back ahead of finals, hopefully. So not all doom and gloom, but yeah, it is maybe a little bit of a worry.
Could be right, indeed. But let's have a look at the ladder, boys, and what we'll see that with Carisbrook's win on the weekend, not only do they remain undefeated, but they are now 3 games ahead of second place Navarre. With 2 games to go, Carisbrook have officially won the minor premiership for season 2013, so it will be Carisbrook finishing on top of the ladder this season. As we mentioned, 3 games ahead of Navarre in second spot, and then 2 teams just a game back. Newstead and Harcourt now moving into the top 4, both on 10 wins and 4 losses. Lexington and Natty Bialaba just behind them with 1 game behind on 9 wins and 5 losses. Interesting to note, as you can see on the screen, both Lexington and Natty with far superior percentages to Harcourt. So should Harcourt go down this weekend to Carisbrook, there's a big chance that Lexington or Natty may be able to take their place in the top 4. As we can see, Avoca in 7th spot there, 8 wins and 6 losses. 2 teams on 7 wins and 7 losses. They are Maldon in 8th and Talbot in 9th. As we can see, a fairly big, about 11% differential between those 2 sides, but that doesn't matter if 1 wins and 1 loses on the weekend, because that could just about spell the end for one of their seasons. We go down to Campbell's Creek in 10th with 4 wins, Denali in 11th with 3 wins, Royal Park in 12th with 3 wins, Trentham in 13th with 2 wins, and the Maryborough Rovers sitting in 14th spot with 1 win for the season. Let's have a look at the netball from the weekend, lads, because some very interesting games of netball in our A-grade competition as well. Maldon 60 defeating Talbot 23. Beck McKnight 32 goals again for Maldon, again named in the best players. I know she's right up there in the Maryborough Advertisers Award this year, Sam Gowers, but I reckon she'd have to be right up there in the Norda Tracy vote count proceedings as well at this stage. She's had a fantastic year.
Yeah, you see her bob up in the best players for Maldon every week, along with Avalon Crom. So they're a bit of a deadly duo. And
of course, Maldon flying at the moment. Natty Bialaba v Lexington, big game of netball, and Lexington getting the job done. Trailed at every break except the final one, where they got up and won 38-37, 16 goals to 8 in the last quarter, getting them over the line. Really good display by Lexington. Scotty, the reigning premiers, looking to get back into that top 4 come finals time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was probably only a couple of weeks ago we thought we weren't sure where they were going to finish. They were, back in the pack with the probably bottom half of the top 8, and very good win. And yeah, they're in touch with the top 4 now, and only out on percentage. So, pretty big win, good finish to the year, and you never know.
Avoca taking on Denali on the weekend. Denali 46 defeating Avoca 32. Important win, important result for both sides in that it's Denali's 3rd win in a row now. They've got some momentum back after they dropped that 4 in a row and were really looking in trouble. It's probably secured their final spot, given that they are now 2 games clear of 9th place Royal Park, and it's ended Avoca's finals hopes as well. Sammy.
Yeah, Avoca would be a bit disappointed there. I know they've had a pretty good run of finals appearances over the last couple of years, but Denali would be very happy with themselves, I think, especially after they had a bit of a shaky start to the year.
Much like Avoca in the footy, they're not a team that you want to face in the first week of the finals, Scotty.
That was exactly going to be my point, Shawnee. Very dangerous. We have seen them at the start of the year, their form. Had that, like you said, those 4 games. Bit of a rough period, but yeah, playing the right sort of netball at the right time of the year.
They are indeed. Final game of the round, Navarre taking on Carisbrook, and it was the Grasshoppers 35-32 victors. Very interesting game, of course. Navarre staying on top of the ladder with this one, but close throughout. Carisbrook pegged them back in the second half, Scotty, and what I suppose this shows, with Navarre's loss to Maldon and this close result against Carisbrook, is that there's not really that much between maybe 4 or 5 sides in the A-grade netball competition this year.
This is going to be an exciting netball final series, Shawnee. Like we mentioned, Lexington at the start, you don't want to they're another side like Denali. You don't want to play them.
Yeah.
If they get a double chance, they go pretty far, I reckon, with experience and the win last year. So, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic final series and good win by Navarro. Carisbrooke have been playing well. So
They have.
They're still showing they're probably the side to beat.
They are indeed. Navarre sitting on top of the ladder at the moment, as we can see, 13 wins from their 14 games this season. They're a game ahead of Maldon in second spot with 12 wins. They're a game ahead of Natty Bialaba in third with 11 wins, and then another game back to two teams, Carisbrooke in fourth and Lexington in fifth. Two teams vying for that top four spot at the moment. Newstead sits sixth with 9 wins, Denali in seventh with 8 wins, and Harcourt in eighth with 7 wins. I reckon apart from maybe that fourth and fifth spot, boys, there's probably not going to be a lot of change to that ladder in the next couple of weeks. So what we're seeing right now could very much be the makeup of the final 8. Royal Park sit outside with 6 wins. Mathematically, there's still a chance to play finals, but they need a big percentage boost in order to do so in the last couple of weeks. Avoca with 5 wins, Maryborough Rovers with 4 wins, Trentham with 2 wins, Talbot with 1, and Campbell's Creek rounding out the A-grade netball ladder. Boys, it's time to have a look at round 15 action. It's a very, very interesting round coming up, and stay tuned for next week's footy show, because remember about 7 or 8 weeks ago, Scotty, you and I had a crack at trying to predict the season, and we predicted up to round 15. Next week is round 15, so we're going to pull out our ladder, what we thought up until round 15, and the actual ladder, and just see how far apart those two ladders are, because I haven't gone back over it, but I don't think there's going to be too much difference. Maybe at the top of the ladder there might be, because I know we tipped Newstead to go through undefeated, which hasn't happened, but it'll be very interesting to see how that goes, and we know that Sam Gowers has completely distanced himself from everything to do with those predictions.
He doesn't want anything to do with it at all. We had no input.
That's what's wrong.
Yeah, I beg to differ. I think
I'd
we'll find out next week.
I'd like to see a 10-week out prediction that is 100% correct. I don't think there'd ever be one in the history of any game.
Yeah, we just thought we'd stir the pot and throw a few curveballs at the viewers, and we'll see how we go next week.
We will indeed. Let's have a look at this week's game. So Newstead taking on Trentham. Big game for Newstead because they want to lock in their top 4 spot this week, and they should be able to do so against a Trentham side that will be buoyed after their win in the first half of the split round and have now had a couple of solid weeks on the training track to get out there, Sammy.
Yeah, Newstead probably need to find just a little bit of momentum ahead of the final series, and this is probably the ideal chance for them to do that, so I'm going to go with the Roos to win.
Yeah, perfect point. They need to have a big win, get some touching the midfielders into their forwards. Hopefully their forwards can kick some goals and get a bit of confidence heading into the finals. So I'm going to go Newstead as well.
Royal Park taking on Avoca this week, and whilst we know how well Avoca are going at the moment, Royal Park know that they can win this, and I suppose the big announcement that we spoke about on last week's footy show that we were going to let in this week is that Royal Park have signed their coach Greg Stewart for the 2014 season. They've started recruiting, everything's on the right track, and they've got a real belief about them, Royal Park, that they can win not just this one but their last couple of games, but it's not going to be easy against an Avoca side that, as we mentioned before, are a bit of a dark horse this year, Sam.
Yeah, good move by Bushy to lock up Greg Stewart for next year. He's already shown that he's capable of turning them into a really good football side, but I think Avoca will win it.
Yeah, just to remind everyone too that this will be at Avoca with the swapping games earlier in the year with their groundwork's being done. So going to home, yeah, I'll go with Avoca.
Talbot taking on the Maryborough Rovers this weekend, and this is going to be a fascinating game because we know that with the way Talbot are going at the moment, they're a little bit up and down, and you can't rely on them to walk into 4 points in this game. They can't go in thinking that they're going to win 4 points in this game because Maryborough Rovers are up and about. They got that win last week. We heard from Corey Taylor, and we know that with some inclusions that they're a little bit of a different side than what they've been this year. So whilst I'm tipping Talbot in this one, and it could be a game where Talbot actually go a game clear inside the 8, they've got to really be on their game to beat the Maryborough Rovers this week, I reckon, Sam.
Yeah, a little bit of self-belief will do wonders for Rovers, but I still think Talbot will lock away the 4 points here.
Yeah, I think something's clicked for Talbot. They know that wins are important and they must win to get in the 8, and I think that'll just drive them on, and yeah, they should get the 4 points here.
Campbell's Creek taking on Navarre at Campbell's Creek this weekend. Campbell's Creek have been the Jekyll and Hyde of the MCDFNL this season. We don't know which one's going to show up at any certain time, and because of that, I believe that Navarre will start pretty warm favourites this week, Sam.
Yeah, hard to go past Navarre in this one, Sean.
Yeah, var for me, Shawnee.
Denali taking on Natty Bialaba out at Deledio Reserve. Natty probably one of the informed teams in the competition at the moment, but Denali at home can never be taken lightly.
Yeah, especially after they've improved, so drastically in the second half of the year. That being said, Swannies for me, of course.
Of course.
Of course. I'm going to go with Natty as well. They're playing some really good footy and, continue their way to charging the top four.
And the two most important games, arguably, of the round this week. Starting out at Lexington on Saturday. Lexington taking on Maldon. Lexington pushing for a top 4 spot. Maldon looking to lock down their top 8 spot. This is going to be an absolute beauty.
Yeah, I think Lexington will bounce back with a win here, but only just. Could be very close.
Yeah, he summed that up perfectly, Shawnee. Massive game for both sides, and I want to go with Lexington to get over the line.
I think I might even get down and have a look at this one. That's how good we're going as the photocopier starts up for us. Thanks, Liam Brady. The last game this weekend taking place on Sunday afternoon out at Carisbrook. Carisbrook taking on Harcourt, and with the form that Harcourt were in beating Newstead in the last round a fortnight ago, you can't completely write them off here, but we know Carisbrook at home, it's a fortress that they've got out there, and it's going to be a very difficult assignment for the Lions.
Yeah, as good as Harcourt are going, I tipped against Carisbrook last week and looked really stupid in doing so.
And so we were told during the week as well.
Yes, so
a couple of boys down at Carisbrook not all that happy with your selection.
I don't care, but Carisbrook.
Yeah, I think Carisbrook will win, but I'm going to tip Harcourt. I think it's just probably one of those games. You never know. That loss could be coming. It could be this week. And Harcourt are playing well. And every side that's come up against them the last few weeks said they are impressive and flying under the radar. So I know it'll be it won't be a big win. I'd say to be under 5 points if they're going to do it. But I'll go with Harcourt.
I don't mind your theories, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter because I'm a little bit of that same view that Harcourt are really going at the moment. They know that they can win and just about lock down a top 4 position if they win this game, which will set up another return meeting with Carisbrook, of course, in the finals. But a little bit of self-belief can go a long, long way, and they've got it at the moment, Harcourt. And whilst I'm falling short of tipping them this week, I like where your head's at with this one, Scott Carey, because I think they'll really give them a push this week.
Yeah, we'll just change it up, Shawnee. Not sitting on the fence like Sammy Gowers.
Man, no
I
need
tipped
at all.
against them last week, mate.
Yeah, and then got ridiculed, so you're back on the bandwagon.
Well, that's what he's in for next week.
Yeah, very good. That's the MCDFNL Footy Show for another week. We're just 2 weeks away from the finals, and we can't wait. Thanks for joining us this week, Sam Gowers. Well done.
Always a pleasure, mate.
And Scott Carey, great to have you back in the studio this week, mate. We'll look forward to more of it in coming weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be locked in for the rest of the year, Shawnee.
Very, very good work by you. Hopefully you're locked in for the rest of the year out there watching us as well, because we've got some big, big stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. We'll see you then. Enjoy the footy this weekend.